Welcome to Kickstarter Conniption. I'm Kevin Delp.
And I'm Melissa Delp.
And we are happy to be part of the Tantrum House family. In this video series, we talk about Kickstarter games. And today, we're looking at Floating Market by Eagle-Gryphon Games.
Floating Market is a 2 to 5 player action selection and dice rolling game. Let's look at some of the components. For each player, you have meeples and dice of a certain color. The dice are a D4, a D6, a D10, a D12, and also a negative D6. For the fruit, you have a boat that matches each kind and then also cards. And then you have the board. It has spaces for the meeples to select actions, and it also has spaces for the fruit boats. There are also some special tokens and cards for money.
Let's look at the gameplay. The goal is to be the first player to collect 5 different types of fruit. Each player takes the meeples and dice for a certain color. In turn order, players will place one of their meeples on the board and add 1 die to the dice pool. Players continue placing meeples until all have been used.
After all of the meeples are placed, the first player rolls all of the dice in the dice pool and totals the value. Only the boat on the corresponding space will activate and sell fruit.
So if a total of 19 was rolled, the boat on that space sells fruit. The player on that boat gets the matching fruit card. Another way to get a fruit card is by paying coins at the market. The first person to get 5 different fruit cards immediately wins the game. This is the general gameplay, but let's talk about some specifics and what we liked and didn't like.
Even though there is a lot of luck with the dice rolls, you do have the ability to influence what goes on by the meeples that you place and the actions you take. Do I want the possibility of a higher roll? Then maybe I'll take the space that adds another D12 or adds the +4 token. So those are some options that you have. You can also take spaces that will extend the payout for the coins or the fruit.
And if you do have trouble actually getting a fruit that's on the boat, not a problem. You can always go after coins, which you can buy then at the market. Well, I was a backer of Floating Market on Kickstarter, and I really enjoyed how they revealed the stretch goals throughout the campaign. I mean, they have the upgraded meeples, the upgraded dice, the upgraded first player token. It was done very well, and I just really love the components too. Very well made.
I really wish that the colors of the pink dice and I guess salmon colored dice were a little more distinct. They can be a little difficult to pick out and easy to confuse on the board. I also wish there was a little better way to end the game than immediately stopping when a player gets their 5th fruit. With the ability to buy fruit at the market, you could know the round before that player, that's the first thing they're going to do and the game's going to end. Overall, though, I do like Floating Market, and it reminds me of another game I like, Manila. You just really have to realize that the dice produce some randomness and luck in the game, and you have to roll with it.
Well, I was able to play Floating Market with Ben and Matt, the designers of Floating Market, at Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio. Great time with them, great guys. If you enjoy rolling dice and go into the game knowing it's just a casual game, I think you'll enjoy it. Now, there were over 1,100 backers on the Kickstarter campaign, and they only produced 2,000 copies of Floating Market. So if you see a copy in the board game market, be sure to pick up your copy of Floating Market.